Hey YouTube family, we are back. Today's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing day and an amazing talk. Today we're going to talk about beware of your self-concept. So before we get started here, check out my description. I have new links in the description. Links of how you can work with me, how you can get in touch with me. I got book links and recommended videos in there as well. And I pin it as a comment. So check that out. And other than that, let's get rock and roll. Let's get started. Now, before we get into self-concept, this is really, there's a lot of deal breakers when we talk about manifesting. Okay, there's a lot of deal breakers. And what I mean by this, there's a lot of things that we're doing that hold us back. That's really stopping the manifesting process. And this is probably a huge one we're going to talk about today. So right now, this is beware of our self-concept. So what do I mean by self-concept? And I'm going to give you an example right off the bat because this is going to kind of hit the hammer on the road here. I am back. I had to put on these handy dandy earphones on just to drown out some of the background noise. That way I stay focused. But what's the example I want to give you here? Now, the example is if you have some experience with manifesting, you have some experience with old school prosperity teachers like Neville Goddard, Thomas Troward, Napoleon Hill, Joseph Murphy. So when you set an intention, and let's say you set an intention and you want to be a multimillionaire. And when you have a multimillionaire, you either have $1 million in a bank, or you got $15 million in a bank, or whatever. So what self-concept is when you live in the end, you act as if what you're doing in your 3D world, your present moment right now, what you should be doing is acting like a millionaire. What would you be doing if you already had $1 million in the bank? What type of decisions would you be making if you already had $1 million in the bank? Okay. So this is the deal. If you had $1 million in the bank, are you going to be worried and have an anxiety attack over paying your bills? Well, probably not. You're probably going to give two shits about it. Just, excuse my language, but that's really the reality of it. I really wanted to do this video when I was in the grocery store because this is a big thing. When you go shopping and something simple as buying groceries, maybe you're buying them, maybe you're with your significant other, but you're going around the grocery store and let's say you're into bodybuilding, you're into fitness, and you want to buy some whey protein. Now I am in Thailand. This is a Thai brand, but this is chocolate milk mixed with whey protein. So you got 30 grams of protein in here. It's 125 baht, give and take $4 or $5. So I caught myself doing this. Okay, literally, I caught myself doing this. Am I going to walk and I see the price, I check the price, and I start thinking to myself, I'm scratching my head thinking, oh, well, I can really do without it. But yet, deep down, I really want it. Does that make sense? If my self-concept is, I want to be a millionaire, and all this does is contradict my self-contract. All this does is contradict, it's scarcity, it's a poverty habit, okay, it's poverty consciousness. When I look at this, and then I look at the price tag, and I'm making my decision. Okay, this isn't aligning with your self-concept. This is violating your self-concept. So in that moment, okay, when that happens, well, you're not really living the end like Neville Goddard said, or acting as if, okay? So that's what I mean by beware of your self-concept. Okay, this is a deal breaker. What we should be doing, okay, when you live in the end, no matter if you follow Neville Goddard, you live in the end, no matter if you follow Joseph Murphy, you want to influence your subconscious mind, we all know here to influence your self-conscious mind is what you're thinking about 5 or 10 minutes right before you go to sleep. That's what's going to occur in your 3D world. So another thing what we have to understand is, and I love this, okay, I'm in the mood to kind of talk right now, but I love this, is that what you see in your imagination has already happened. Okay, now this is great news for you. If you're listening right now, what you see in your imagination has already occurred, has already happened. So what this means is if you can see yourself in your imagination being a millionaire, what that means is it's already happened, it's already occurred. If you can see yourself living in your dream house, walking around your dream house, no matter how big your dream house is, if it's a multi-million-dollar dream house, well, guess what? The great news is it's already occurred, it's already happened. Okay, if you can go inside your imagination and you can see yourself, feel yourself, driving your dream car, no matter if it's a $200,000 dream car, $300,000 dream car, it's a Porsche 911 twin turbo convertible, that's around $200,000, $250,000, give and take what kind of components you have in there. Okay, if you can go inside your imagination and you can see yourself doing it, well, guess what? It's already occurred and already happened in your 4D world. Now, your 4D world, don't get confused, your 4D world is your imagination. And your 3D world is present moment right now, what's going on in your life right now. Okay, now you have to come to terms with this. If I can see it in my imagination, it's already happened, already occurred. Okay, now if you love Neville Goddard, okay, Neville Goddard gives many examples of this, and even Neville Goddard, okay, he was mentored and trained by Abdullah, and Abdullah told him the same thing. Okay, when Neville Goddard gives an excellent example, and he says, like, when he was in New York at the time, and he wanted to go back to Barbados to visit his family. This is around the Great Depression, so he was broke, he was poor, he had no money, he had no means to go back to Barbados. And he set an intention that he went back to Barbados first class. And this was starting to transpire in his world. He actually went and he was going on boat, or like a charter boat back in the day. And they said, yes, we can take you to Barbados, but you have to go first class. No, you have to go third class. Sorry about that. Okay, because back then they had third class. So we can take you, that's great news, but you have to go third class, not first class. So Neville Goddard, just like any of us, he was excited. Listen to this. He was excited. He was astonished because, like, I can go to Barbados. And he was so excited, he ran back to Abdullah. And he wanted to tell Abdullah the great news. And guess what Abdullah said? Abdullah actually got pissed off. He actually got upset with Neville Goddard. And this is what he told Neville Goddard. He said, no, you didn't go to Barbados third class. You were already in Barbados. You already went there. It already happened. And you went first class. So even Abdullah was preaching the great news while I'm preaching to you today. This isn't my information. This isn't my stuff, okay? I've just learned this over the years by other people, by other great prosperity teachers. But Abdullah said the same thing. Whatever you see in your imagination has already happened, has already occurred. So from there, you live in the end. You act as if it's already occurred. If you want your dream house, you see it in your imagination. It's already occurred, already happened. Right now in your 3D world, you already own your dream house. You already have it. Okay, so when we say beware of self-concept, if I already have my dream house, would I be walking around all day long looking for my dream house, looking for the how? How in the world am I going to get the money? How in the world am I going to get $1 million? How am I going to put down a down payment? I wouldn't be thinking that because I already live in my dream house. I'm already there. Your whole energy when you're in your waking hours should be focused on acting as if you already have your dream house. How would you be behaving if you already have your dream house? You wouldn't be looking for a real estate person. You wouldn't be looking for cheaper ways how to figure things out. You wouldn't be looking for a new job to make more money so you have money for a down payment because you living your dream house has already happened. It already occurred. Okay. Your whole job is you see your imagination already occurred in your 3D world. You act as if it already happened. You carry yourself like it already happened because it's true. Okay. Now we can argue about this. We can debate about this, but this is something you have to come to terms with. And let me quote Neville Goddard again on this about living in the end. Okay. This is what Abdullah told Neville Goddard. Abdullah told Neville Goddard when Neville Goddard wanted to go to Barbados. Abdullah kept it super, super simple. I want you to see how simple this stuff is. Abdullah kept it so simple. He told Neville Goddard that when you go to bed at night in New York, go to bed as if you're going to bed in Barbados. Go to bed, lay in your bed as if you're laying in your bed in Barbados. Okay. Abdullah, now, of course, YouTube wasn't around back then. Social media wasn't around back then. Cell phones wasn't around back then. Okay. But Abdullah didn't tell Neville Goddard, when you go to sleep at night, you have to search YouTube for these great meditations and you have to go in this meditative state. Abdullah kept it simple. Abdullah said, when you go to bed at night, Neville, go to bed as if you're laying in your bed in Barbados. When you walk the streets in New York, act as if you're walking the streets of Barbados. Okay, this is your self-concept. This is what you got to do. Okay, like for example, I'm gonna go back to my multi-millionaire example. If you set an intention, you want to be a millionaire. Okay, I'm already a millionaire right now. If I can see it in my imagination, it's done, it's happened. I'm already a millionaire. Okay, in my 3D world, I wouldn't be figuring out how in the world I got the money because I already have it. My whole thing is when I go shopping, I can buy anything I want. And create affirmations around this stuff. You can say affirmations. You can say robotic affirmations. Whatever you want to call it. Okay. I started doing this when I went shopping. As I went shopping, I would put myself in a state that I'm a millionaire. I would go in a state where I could see $15 million in my checking account. I could see myself, feel my phone, looking at my account and seeing the money inside my account. As I went shopping, I bought everything I wanted to buy. I didn't pay attention to the price. As I walked around the store, I would tell myself, I can buy anything I want in here because it was true. Okay, what you guys got to do is when you create an affirmation for yourself, an affirmation isn't a one all be all for everybody. What I say to myself might not work for you because it might create internal conflict. Okay, what do I mean by internal conflict? Internal conflict is, you say you're a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I am the $15 million man. But then self-conflict is, oh, well, that's not true. You're not a millionaire, Chad. What are you joking about? You got only this amount in your checking account. So you have to do a little bit of homework with this. Okay, there isn't, one shoe doesn't fit everybody, if you want to say that. Okay, so you got to play with these affirmations. You got to play with things that kind of work for you. That's why I picked, when I went in the grocery store, I can buy anything I want in here because it's true. Of course, I'm not going to buy the whole store. But it's true because I can buy anything I want in there. Okay, no matter what it is, it's not too extreme for my price range. So it becomes true. And I did it as a robotic affirmation. Every time I spent money, I would say, money comes back. Every time I spend money, money comes back to me double. God provides all my needs. Okay, so you got to come up with affirmations that kind of keep you connected to that 3D world. The bad news here, when we say beware of self-concept, one thing you have to understand is that old identity of yourself, okay, that old version of yourself, and it comes right when you're trying to make a change. It comes right when you're putting all this stuff together. That old identity, the old version of yourself, your old beliefs, your old thought patterns are going to fight against you. Okay. So when it fights against you, you got to be prepared a little bit. For one, you got to know it's going to happen and what you're going to do, how you're going to control it. So let me give you a couple things to work on here. For one, develop affirmations, robotic affirmations. We already talked about this. Okay, you get it. You got it. The second thing to do is you got to revise your day. Okay, now Neville Goddard Neville Goddard explained it different. Okay. But every prosperity teacher talks about this. Maybe they explain it in a different way. They give a different definition. They call it something different. But you got to revise your day. Okay. For one is, we are not perfect. We are going to falter. We're not going to handle every single situation the best they can. Okay. We're going to, if I'm walking around being a millionaire all day long, there's going to be times that I don't respond properly. Okay, there's gonna be times that I react not in a manner how a millionaire would react. I'm going to go back to that old self. So when you go back to the old self, what you got to do is revise it. Okay, you go inside your, and revision, when you talk about revision, you can do this any time of the day. This isn't, I have to do this before I go to sleep at night. You can, that's one way. You can do it immediately. You can just stop in your tracks and close your eyes and do it within a couple seconds, and you revise that moment. Okay, if you get in an argument with somebody, you can go inside your imagination and that argument didn't occur. Okay, you handled yourself respectfully. Okay, if you go out to eat with somebody and you're looking at the menu, you really want the filet mignon, but the filet mignon is really outside your budget. Okay, it's not because you're thinking you can afford it or can't afford it. 100% I can't afford it, but you have to order the chicken instead. Okay, but you revise your day. Okay, you pretend, just like Abdullah told Neville Goddard, you might be eating that chicken, but you pretend you're eating that filet mignon. Okay, or you revise your day. Okay, when you get home from the restaurant, you go on your mind and you revise it in your imagination that you ordered the steak and ate the steak. What you saw in your imagination occurred and had to happen. So that's what revision is. So this is what we got to do all day long. Okay, when you go in your 3D world and you're paying attention to your self-concept and you're paying attention to that new version of you, okay, this is what I do. It just comes down to a couple things, because we're going to be in and out of it. Okay, we're not going to stay in it 100% of the time until we get really good at this. Okay, so the way that keeps me in it is doing affirmations, robotic affirmations, when my mind drifts down the rabbit hole. Okay, when I start getting worried about money and I'm paying my bills, I sit there and say, God supplies all my needs. Every time I pay bills, it comes back to me double. And you get excited for paying bills. God, thank you for blessing me for all this money. Okay, you're excited. So you're saying these things to you. If you're an entrepreneur, you're worried about business. My business is booming. Everybody wants to work with me. Does that make sense? You come up with affirmations, and this is what keeps you engaged. This is what keeps you kind of bulletproof. Because all these negative things happening to you, you have to be bulletproof to everything. You're still just focused on what you want. You're still focused on that intention. You're still focused on your dream house, your dream car, your dream job, your dream career. You're still focused on that millionaire lifestyle. You're still focused on, you can have a life, any life that you really want. You have to understand this, okay? You can bend reality at will, okay? You can have the life of your dreams. We all want different things. Stay focused on yourself. We all want different things. Your life can run exactly how you want it, okay? So when I'm carrying myself throughout the day, I'm using affirmations, robotic affirmation, things I say to myself over and over and over. At the same time, I'm revising my day, revising when things don't go my way, when things happen, when I've reacted to things, when I get out of bed and I stub my toe, and 2 hours later, I'm still thinking about me getting out of bed, stubbing my toe. I revise it. It didn't happen. Okay, we're all going to go through junk, okay, but we can't take it as oh my God, this is a sign that it's not going to come. No, it's not. Okay, it's not a sign. Okay, it's coming to you, for you to ignore it, for you to get better at handling this stuff and give no emotion to it. Okay, maybe about a few weeks ago, someone ran into my motorbike here in Thailand. They ran into it in the parking lot of the condo that I live. Okay, when I went to get it fixed, the condo basically didn't want to pay for it. The condo didn't want to. They gave two shits about it. Well, that's your responsibility. And it's like, well, how can it be my responsibility? I'm parking in a La Casita parking lot. And plus I'm parking where the security cameras are, because security just lets in all types of people. Okay, but anyway, I went with my own money and fixed my bike. But at that point, I fixed it, gave it no emotion, and went on with my day. And I don't think about it. Let the dead bury the dead. Okay, and that's what you got to do. Okay, in your 3D world, negative shit is going to happen, but you become bulletproof. You become like a superhero, and things don't affect you. Things just ping off of you. You're giving no emotion to it. It's happening. You deal with it, and you move on. Give no emotion to it. What you give emotion to is things that you want to do, things that you like. You give emotion to your intention. Okay, you give no emotion to negative things happening around you. This is how you become a mastermind. Okay, even Wallace Waddle says this in A Science of Getting Rich. Okay, how you become a mastermind is when you're surrounded by poverty, your mind is focused on wealth. Okay, when you're surrounded by illness and disease and cancer, your mind is focused on health. That's a mastermind. It doesn't matter what's going on in your environment. It all matters what you're thinking and what you're imagining, because that's connected to your full 4D world. And what did we just say about your 4D world? If you can see it in your imagination, if you can see it in your mind's eye, it has happened to you. It has occurred. It's already done. Okay. All you're doing is just waiting for it to come into your 3D world. Does that make sense? So this is why we say beware of your self-concept. Okay. You need to carry yourself as if whatever you want, whatever your attention is, that's who you have to be. Okay, this takes homework. This takes self-awareness. Okay, and the reason why I say self-awareness is because I have to be self-aware of what works and what don't work. Let me give you an example really fast. Okay, if you're old enough, okay, and you don't have to be old to do this, but what I want you to do is think back during a time that you manifested something that you really wanted to do. Okay. And when that has happened, I want you to be aware of, go back in that moment, go back in time and say, okay, what was I thinking? What was I doing? What was going on? What was I focused on for this to occur in my life? Okay. Then I want you to do the opposite. I want you to go back in time and I want you to think about something that you really wanted, but it didn't happen. You didn't get it. But I want you to go be self-aware of your mindset during that time. What were your thoughts at that time? What were you expecting at that time? And what you're going to find is they're not on the same plane. Okay, that's what you're going to find. When something happened to you, okay, and you got what you wanted, you probably, in that moment, you probably just wanted it. That's what your minds were focused on. You were all positive around it. You walked around acting as if, even if you knew it or not, okay, you let it go. You drew no attachment to it, and then it came to you. And other times when things don't work out for you, you had anxiety over it, you worried about it, you went in your head and had negative comments about it. When you go in your head with negative comments, what happens? You go inside your imagination and you create this negative scene that plays around what you want, and that negative scene actually what occurs in your life. This is why I say you have to be careful of self-concept. You have to be careful of your self-image. It always has to be in your mind eye. How am I acting? How am I behaving? Makes sense. And let me share with this before we go, because this is something that will help you. If you're kind of struggling with your imagination, you're struggling with going inside your imagination, and you get better with it over time. You have to understand that. Okay. The longer you do this stuff, you get better at it. This isn't, if you're new to this and you're only going to be doing it for a couple of days, you've only been doing it for a couple of days. You're not advanced at it. You got to keep on at it. The longer you do this, the better you get. Okay. So let's say you want to attract your dream house and you know exactly where your dream house is. My house is in Hua Hin. It's at the Orchard. It's about a $500,000 house, which is in Thailand, which is a really, really high-end house. But anyway, when I started setting intentions, going inside my imagination with my house, I actually went and visited the house. Okay, my house was built from ground up. I picked everything in my house. So when I went in to see a model, I walked around every single room. I saw the pool. I saw everything I wanted. That helped me with my imagination because I saw the layout. I saw the layout I wanted. I saw how you got in, the gate, the parking. I saw everything. Okay, so when I started going inside my imagination, what really helps is I started envisioning myself, my family coming and visiting me, and my family's there. I'll have my friends coming over, my friends traveling to Thailand, they can stay with me. Or I'm out eating dinner and I meet somebody and say, hey, come back to my place. We can shoot up the barbecue and have some beer and play pool because I have a pool table. So, I started putting other people inside my imagination because that stirs up the emotion. Okay, not of course my girlfriend's inside my imagination, so sometimes I play up that as well. When I bought the house, I could see my imagination that the realtor is shaking my hand congratulating me. I threw all that inside to make it more real. And guess what, what I mean, that lots of times I can go to bed and there's 30 minutes I'm not going to sleep, and I have my attention on my dream house, and I could hold that baby for almost 30 minutes, just constantly just playing the same scene over and over and over, or a different scene, but it's kind of the same scene over and over for 20, 25, 30 minutes. And lots of times I'm getting myself excited where I can't even flip and go to sleep. You get what I'm saying? Then in my 3D world, okay, when I wake up, I act as if when I walk in the kitchen of my condo, I act as if I'm walking in the kitchen in my house. When I walk to the kitchen making my coffee, I act as if I'm making coffee in my dream house. Okay, when we go to the grocery store, when I'm walking around the grocery store buying food, I act as if I'm buying food and we're going to drive back to my dream house. This is the kind of stuff you got to do. You got to be delusional a little bit. You got to be a little bit cray a little bit. You got to be a little bit crazy a little bit. Your friends might look at you and you tell your friends, they might look at you, you're kind of crazy. But when it happens, your friends are going to be like, what did you do again? How did you do this? That's what's going to happen. They might look at you a little bit delusional, but once things start coming in your life and they know you set intentions for, and it still occurred, they're going to come back and be like, what did you do again? How did you do this? How in the world did you get this house? You see what I'm saying? But anyway, friends, I've been kind of going on about this. It's been about almost 30 minutes, but I just want to share that with you. Beware of self-concept. We really lowball this. We really, neglect this side to us because in our 3D world, we get all nervous. We get all anxiety. How is it going to happen? That's not living in the end. Okay. That's not acting as if you're violating one of the steps from Neville Goddard. Okay, if you're constantly thinking about how it's going to happen, you're not living in the yin. You're not acting as if. Okay, you're violating this step. Okay, you need to act as if it's already occurred. That's bottom line. But other than that, my friends, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging around. Comment below. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions about this, comment below. My links are in the description if you want to work with me. But other than that, peace out, blessings to you, and I'll see you in the next video.